this video I'm going to show you how to do a down dog basically. So down dog is one of the more common yoga postures that we work with. It's an inversion, so we're going upside down and we're balancing on hands and feet. So that's what we would call the foundation of the posture, the hands and the feet. So anything touching the floor in yoga is the foundation. So we want to build that nice stable foundation with the hands and feet so the rest of the body can feel comfortable, let's say, in its posture. So down dog, we're working with this. It's very nice for strengthening the arms and the shoulder girdle, getting some length and flexibility into the spine and the side body, as well as stretching out through the back of the legs. It's a really nice back stretch also. And it also starts to engage some of the front muscles, so the abdominals and the belly area starts to get this lovely activation and strength work through it. So it's almost what I would describe as an upside down V shape. So I'll just get into it so you can see what it's like if you haven't done yoga before. Even if you have done yoga before, a breakdown of a posture is always helpful, I think, anyway. Okay, so down dog, let me show you it. So with down dog, the first thing we're thinking about is our foundation. And the main thing we're thinking about is the foundation because a lot of the weight comes through the hands. We're thinking about a broad surface area with the hands, first of all. Okay, so I tend to come from this all fours position and I have a look at my hands. So bring your hands around shoulder width apart. And then think about your first finger, that's your index finger. It wants to be parallel with the other index finger and pointing forward. Okay, so the other fingertips start to spread from there, so you've got a very broad palm. And the more broad you can create this space in the hands, the more it's going to protect the joints and the nicer your posture will feel, basically. Okay, so just check your hands first of all. Spread, broad, even distribution of weight between both hands. Then from here, we're tucking the toes at round about hip width, and then I think about this, push into the back of the heart space slightly. Push into the back of the heart space, so almost like drawing the chest bone away from the earth and connect to the belly. And that'll start to bring some sort of activity around the underbody as you can then think about pressing into the hands, coming onto the toes and lifting the knees a little bit off the floor. You'll feel the connection to the underbody. From here, we start to lift the hips up and back as we start to straighten out the leg and send the gaze point towards the big toes or through the legs. So this is something along the lines of a down dog. Okay, never thinking about being perfect with your poses. Yoga is not a perfect, it's a practice. So just think about what feels good within the boundaries of this alignment, so you can keep your focus, you can keep your centered mindfulness. And from here, thinking about a more almost like a rectangular position on the earth with the hands and feet. And we like this upside down V shape. Okay, hips are at the highest points, heels are starting to soften. And we've got a connection to belly, so belly muscles start to draw in and up. Relax in the back of the neck, breathing softly. Lovely. And just a couple of little tips here. So often when we start working with down dog, our hamstrings or the backs of our legs, even the back of the Achilles tendon and the back of the calf can be quite tight, and that's quite normal. So it might mean that the heels are quite far off the floor here and the back might start to bend a little bit. Okay, that's fine, but what a nice little way to sort of bring a bit more length into the spine is to bend in the knee. Okay, so we've got a bit more of a crouch position with the legs. Start to straighten up through the arms, retract the shoulder blades away from the wrists and start to send the torso a little bit closer toward the thighs. Okay, so you're working with a bent knee, but a straight spine. Lovely. Thinking about lengthening the back of the neck completely. And then if that feels fine, then maybe you can start to straighten the legs and find an even distribution of weight and space through the front and the back half of the body, just softening down through those heels. Grounding down through your index finger, first finger. Lovely. And just finding a really soft and rhythmic breath through your down dog. Tailbone reaches for the sky. Fab. Okay, so that's just a little down dog explanation for you guys. Like I say, if you feel you get a rounded spine in this at all, that's perfectly normal and perfectly fine, but sometimes it feels a little bit easier to find that length in the spine and that activity through the spine if you bend your knees a little bit and start to work the torso towards the thighs. And then eventually we'll start to soften down in the heels and stretch the back of the legs. Yeah, so try out down dog. If it's your first time ever doing down dog, you probably find it's quite strenuous on the wrists and the shoulders and possibly the elbows. Like I say, that's completely normal, but very, very quickly with the yoga practice, you will start to build that strength as you work through your down dog or your inversion. So yeah, that's your little breakdown of down dog. Hope you enjoyed it.